guys, welcome back to PristineZReads. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Warrior Maiden by Melanie Dickerson, book number 9 in the Hagenheim series. I think right from the beginning when I read the synopsis on the back of the book, I thought immediately that I would like it. I don't know if it's because I already have an automatic bias because it's a retelling of Mulan and I'm Chinese. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, despite my bias or not, I really liked it. I think it was also one of the better done books in the series. But okay, let me get to the summary first. Okay, like I said already, The Warrior Maiden is a retelling of Mulan. So we begin with meeting Mulan, the illegitimate daughter of a soldier named Mykolai from Lithuania. Mulan was born to Mykolai out of wedlock while Mykolai was fighting in the Orient. But when Mykolai brought Mulan home, Mykolai's wife, Fra Feodosia, cared for Mulan and took her in as if she were her own child. Now, when we meet Mulan, Mykolai is dead, having died of some sickness, and you could have not picked a worse time to die, because the man Mykolai used to fight for now comes to Feodosia's house and says that another war is happening. The besieging Teutonic Knights are invading, and Mykolai needs to go and help. And if he doesn't come and help, then this man will take away Mulan and her mother's house and their lands. Mulan's mother, Feodosia, does not give away any hint that Mykolai is dead, just nods and says that they will find a way for him to be there. But they know, however, that he is dead, and the only way for them to get out of this situation would be for Mulan to marry someone who would have the sufficient money to buy their house and lands back. So Mulan's mother suggests that Mulan would marry the village butcher, Girdas. Mulan has no desire to get married whatsoever, though, and before her mother can object, Mulan cuts her hair, dresses like a man, and with the help of her father's companion, Andre, this is the Wushu-like character, Mulan heads off to take her father's place in battle. Now, as she knows women are not allowed in battle, she disguises herself wearing men's clothing and armor, tries to deepen her voice. Of course, she's cut her hair. When she arrives at the battlefield, surprisingly, nobody calls her out or thinks that she's anything but a soldier. And Mulan pretends that her name is also Mykolai, and she pretends that she is the illegitimate son of Mykolai, born while he was fighting in a faraway place. So nobody questions who Mulan is, and she assumes the name Mykolai and joins the army without notice. Now we meet Wolfgang and Stefan Gerstenberg, the two younger sons of the Duke and Duchess Gerstenberg of Hagenheim. Wolfgang has always been the more obedient, parent-pleasing son, and Stefan has always been the rebellious, hard-hearted, brash son. So when their father calls them and tells them that they are to help Hagenheim's ally, Duke Conrad, in Poland against the besieging Teutonic Knights, Wolfgang and Stefan immediately set out for the battlefield. However, Stefan has been embittered as a result of something that happened to him when he was a young boy, and in an act of rebellion, he decides to leave Wolfgang and the other Hagenheim men and goes off to join the Teutonic Knights. Wolfgang is stricken as he knows he'll have to fight his own brother, but he continues on to the battlefield anyways. When they get there, setting up a camp and training, Wolfgang is bested in archery by Mykolai, or Mulan. If there's anything warlike that Mulan is good at, it would be archery. She doesn't know how to sword fight or anything else, but she can shoot an arrow better than any of the other men, except maybe Wolfgang, in their army. After Wolfgang is continually embarrassed by Mykolai, they start to form a small friendship. But Mulan is cautious as she knows that if Wolfgang finds out that she is really a woman, then she will be quite dead, literally. So Mulan becomes friends with Wolfgang but never lets him get too close. Wolfgang offers her to learn how to read, and they start using the Bible, and flashback to the Golden Braid, and they start to form a friendship. But the war starts, and they are both called to their duties as soldiers. But will their friendship survive the heat of battle? And what will Wolfgang do when he finds out that Milan is a girl and she's been lying to him all along? You'll have to find out. Alright, so now for the morals of this book. First up is Christian belief / other worldviews. I feel like I had a flashback to the Golden Braid when I was reading the part where Wolfgang and Milan were learning, well, Wolfgang was teaching Milan how to read using the Bible, and I think that's cool. It's just that it's starting to get a little bit repetitive now, because that kind of happened in The Silent Songbird too. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. And there's also a few mentions of, you know, like crossing yourself, confessing to a priest. Again, leaning towards the Catholic side a little bit more. There's nothing like theologically wrong with that. It just tended a bit more to the Catholic side. There were also a couple more mentions of witchcraft, sorcery, demons, and women being sent from the devil, as later in the book, minor spoiler alert, Milan's mother is taken captive because of a salve that she makes that supposedly heals all wounds, and some people claim that it is from the devil and accuse her of practicing sorcery, but yeah, minor spoiler over. But yeah, that's it for worldviews. Next up is violence. Of course, this book I feel like was centered a bit more around wars and battles, of course, because Wolfgang and Milan are soldiers, they're fighting a war. There's expected to be more violence here. You got nothing too like gory. There's some pretty good detail, and I would advise mild caution if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff. But yeah. Alright, next up is romance. I think this one was also like one of the slightly higher romance levels books in the series. Again, nothing inappropriate. This entire series has stayed clean so far. There were some other things, however, that parents, if you want to know about, which you might want to know about, that I'll put in the description below, which you can read. I'm not going to talk about it on here. But yeah. Okay, next up is my rating and recommended age level. I'm going to rate this one 5 stars. I think it was one of the better done books in the series. Like, it seriously had a crazy amount of suspense and action, and it like left me hanging at so many parts. I finished 3/4 of it in one sitting, and I would have finished the entire book in one sitting, but it was dinner time, so I couldn't. But anyways, yeah. So I love this a lot. I'm gonna boot my age level up to 14 to 15 plus this time. Again, nothing inappropriate or morally wrong with the content, just I think what made me boot it up 1 year more was the added mentions of, you know, the witchcraft, sorcery, and stuff. Oh yeah, there was one mention of a person being burned at the stake for witchcraft, but that never actually happened. There was just one mention of that. Also, there are some other things in here that I think might not be so appropriate for younger readers, but again, I'm putting that in the description. But yeah, I love this book a lot, and next up, Piper's Pursuit. Alrighty, thanks for watching, guys. Bye! Wolfgang gazed up at him. Aren't you coming up? Nikolai grinned.
I'm not coming up. I'll just stay down here, right on the ground where I belong.
Easy for you. You scampered up that tree as if your father were a tree squirrel.
Squirrel! Squirrel! I'm coming up now!
Wolfgang was much bigger and heavier, but he couldn't let Nikolai laugh at him either. So he grabbed a limb and hoisted himself up, finding a foothold in the crook between the trunk and the 2 branches. It took him much longer, especially hampered as he was by his injured shoulder, but finally he was as high as Nikolai. He settled himself as best as he could on a branch and leaned back against the trunk.
Man, these people are so slow. I would have been up the tree in like 2 seconds.
Not bad. Nikolai looked as comfortable as if he were propped up on a feather bed. I've heard bears can climb trees. If my father was a squirrel, yours must have been a bear.
I can just taste the squirrel meat and sinking my teeth into its flesh. Oh wait, I'm acting really weird in front of the camera. Anyways, my father wasn't a bear, because that'd be really weird. I'm a dog. Like, look, see my ears, my nose, my whiskers, and my fluffy face. Yeah, it'd be weird if my dad was a bear. Yeah, anyways.